I never knew the comfort of the silver spoon. My youth wasn't marked by carefree weekends or the luxury of parental focus. It was defined by the relentless, monotonous grind of menial jobs. From the moment I was old enough to legally earn a wage, and often before that, my life became a calendar dictated not by academic deadlines or social events, but by shift schedules and meager paydays. I sorted inventory in sweltering warehouses, wiped down tables in fast food chains until my joints ached, and ran errands that always seemed to start before dawn. Survival was a solitary art. Every single naira, cent, or coin earned was immediately accounted for, swallowed up by bills and basic necessities. There was no financial cushion, no safety net to catch me. This early life experience forged a deep-seated self-reliance, but it came at a profound cost. A perpetual state of fatigue and a constant ache of absence. The absence of time, the absence of ease, and the absence of a protected adolescence. The path to education, which should have been a source of future promise, became just another overwhelming burden. I approached university applications with a cold sense of financial dread, knowing that while my mind was ready, my wallet was empty. The prospect of balancing a rigorous degree program with the required hours of labor seemed insurmountable, a recipe for academic failure and utter exhaustion. I saw my future as an endless, backbreaking equation where the input, effort, never quite matched the necessary output, security. It was precisely at this precipice, when I felt the crushing weight of responsibility threatening to steal my last hope of a better future, that Uncle Matthew intervened. He was a distant figure, a quiet success in the family's periphery, and his sudden appearance in my life felt like a genuine miracle, a deviation from the harsh, established order of my world. He didn't offer a grand, sprawling lecture on ambition. He offered practical, measurable relief. He saw the fire in my belly but also the dark circles under my eyes. Through a combination of tuition support and a small monthly stipend, he eased the most immediate financial pressures, just as I was preparing to enter the university gates. This gesture didn't grant me affluence, but it granted me space. For the first time, I could attend class and study without the immediate panic of a rent deadline looming. That freedom, the freedom to simply be a student, was the single greatest gift I had ever received. It was this newfound stability, this reprieve from constant, desperate scrambling, that created the emotional bandwidth necessary for me to pursue a true, committed relationship. When I met my boyfriend, the stability of my life finally seemed to match the stability of my finances. I clung to him, perhaps too tightly, seeking the emotional security that my environment had never provided. This deep attachment was the foundation upon which I built my expectations of a shared future. A future I believed was solid enough to withstand any distance. Little did I know, the greatest challenge wasn't geographical separation, but the introduction of a man named Francis, whose unsettling proposition would expose the profound vulnerability beneath my carefully constructed emotional shield. The one-year countdown had begun, but the true measure of presence and absence was about to be redefined. The year my boyfriend embarked on his academic journey abroad, I found myself adrift, navigating the quiet waters of his absence. My solitude, though initially a source of grief, was soon interrupted by an entirely unexpected intervention. Francis, a man whose familiarity was rooted in shared history and a known sense of humor, materialized one afternoon and delivered a line that was as jarring as it was typical of him. "Oh, he's gone," Francis began, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Then let's pretend I'm your boyfriend until he comes back." I laughed, perhaps a touch too loudly, a reflexive dismissal of his absurdity. "He's gone for only a year. I think I can survive," I countered, confident in my resilience and in the strength of my established long-distance relationship. The concept of a fake boyfriend was an amusing proposition, one I didn't take seriously at first. Within a fortnight, Francis's intent became undeniably clear, ushering in the subtle, yet consistent, new reality of my life. His transformation began with the ritual of the morning call. His voice, laced with mock authority, would greet me early, a gentle intrusion on my waking hours. "As your fake boyfriend, I should know if you slept well," he'd declare, grounding his burgeoning attentiveness in the pretense of our agreement. The evening brought the nightly conversation, a carefully orchestrated mimicry of my existing relationship. "What did he usually say to you on nights like this?" he'd inquire, earnest beneath the joke. "I want to say the same thing so you don't miss a thing." I tried to maintain the boundary. My actual boyfriend and I, despite the challenge of a significant time difference, managed daily conversations. the emotional connection via phone was intact. When it comes to phone conversations, I don't miss a thing, I explained to Francis. It's his presence that's missing, but I think I can manage that for a year. This mention of presence was a pivotal moment. Francis, a dedicated banker pursuing further education, was the last person one would expect to volunteer his time. His schedule was famously demanding. Yet, following my confession of missing presence, something shifted. His involvement became gradual but profound, a consistent, unspoken commitment. Over the next several months, I watched mildly stunned as he began to show up. The subtle acts of service mounted until it became impossible to categorize his efforts merely as a bit of fun. He was doing too much for a fake boyfriend. The extent of Francis's presence was thrown into sharp relief by the growing inconsistencies in my long-distance relationship. While Francis was always there, my real boyfriend began to disappear and reappear at will. He would vanish for a full week without prior notice, resurfacing with lengthy, self-absolving excuses. Academic pressure one day, inconvenient weather the next. My love for him, then still consuming, prevented me from voicing my complaint, allowing his increasingly neglectful behavior to continue unchecked. The cracks in my foundation became chasms one day when a friend approached me. "Your man is having fun, she observed innocently. "New places, new people every day." Puzzled, I pressed her for an explanation. "I've been seeing his WhatsApp status," she said. My stomach dropped. I hadn't seen his updates in months, having convinced myself he was too busy with his demanding studies to post anything at all. In reality, I had been blocked. When confronted, my boyfriend denied it outright, insisting he hadn't posted in ages, and even calling our mutual friend a liar. His reaction was swift and retaliatory. He blocked her the very next day. My act of questioning earned me weeks of silence. He simply ghosted me. The relationship limped on until his graduation, when I posed a simple, anodyne question about his return date. It was a harmless inquiry, yet it triggered a week-long disappearance fueled by anger. When he finally responded, his decision was clear. "I'm looking for opportunities here. I'm not coming back anytime soon." He could have stopped there, and I would have eventually understood. But his next sentence was the fatal blow. "If that's too much for you, then find someone else." Following this message, he vanished completely for 2 agonizing months. I was heartbroken, paralyzed by a grief that refused to be externalized in tears. Francis, ever perceptive, noticed my fractured state. "What's wrong with you? You can tell me," he urged. I told him everything. The slow, agonizing death of my relationship and the final brutal halt. I braced myself for consolation, but Francis, in his typical fashion, offered something else entirely. "If the real thing is dead, then should the fake die too?" he asked. I managed a weak, watery smile. "You're crazy. This isn't the time to joke," I replied. "The proposal and the permanent." Francis stood by me as I navigated the treacherous territory of heartbreak, a steadfast, grounded presence. Eventually, sensing the need for space, he temporarily withdrew, allowing me the crucial time needed for solitary healing. When he returned, the charade was over. The real thing was irrevocably dead, and the qualifier of fake no longer applied to him. Our relationship, built on a foundation of pretense, now stood as the most authentic constant in my life. One day, Francis laid his cards on the table. "Is there a place for me in your heart?" I nodded, the answer immediate and certain. "Yes. There's nothing real going on here, so why not?" His response was quick, decisive, and startlingly real. "Then let's get married." "Don't joke with me," I protested, though his serious gaze told me he wasn't. Francis had been my fake boyfriend for over 2 years, but he had no intention of lingering as just a real boyfriend. 3 months later, he was formally petitioning my family. 3 months after that, we were married. The permanence of our commitment was soon cemented by the arrival of 2 children in the subsequent 3 years. We eventually paused the expansion of our family to dedicate time to simply enjoying the life we had built together. The morning after my wedding, my phone chimed with a message from my ex-boyfriend, still abroad. His words, venomous and accusatory, confirmed his lingering resentment. "I knew you were sleeping with him when you couldn't stop mentioning his name. You see, time has proven me right." My reply was immediate and final. "You can't make me feel guilty from the grave you're in. Dead men don't talk." Then I pressed the block button. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. We encourage comments and discussion in the comments section. Guess what? Another story is coming up in a few days. Do well to hit the notification bell to be notified, and do subscribe, and give a thumbs up to like and encourage this channel, Evelyn Sampson TV. Feel free to share and invite your friends. Thank you once again for being a part of our storytelling journey.